Richard Krajicek is looking in ominously good form, isn't he? Still to drop a set. I'm delighted to say that Annabelle Croft has joined myself and Chris Wilkinson in the studio. Now, Chris, you were saying at the very start of the fortnight that Richard Krajicek was a man to watch out for, and he's certainly living up to your billing, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he's going to be difficult to beat. The courts are faster this year, according to all the players, so with his big serve volley game, he's going to be very difficult.
What particularly impressed you about his display against Spadea?
Well, I think what he does well, he knows his limitations. He knows that he's not a great big ground stroke player. So what he does, he builds his game around his serve and tries to get to the net. Here we have him on the baseline, and as soon as he's in a baseline rally, he's always looking for that short ball. So he's in his backhand down line, there's the first short ball, and he's in straight away, and Spadea has to hit a good passing shot. If not, Krajicek covers the net well and hits a winning volley. And his whole game is based around getting to net, making it difficult for the opponent, and then putting away the volley, which he does very well. He's
an athletic guy, isn't he? I mean, he's had his injury problems over the past couple of years since he really made a name for himself by winning Wimbledon. But he seems to have put all that behind him, and as you say, he's very quick to put the pressure on the opponent when he can as well.
Yeah, as I said, you know, as long as he can get to net, and on the hard courts, it's difficult for any opponent. Again, here, the emphasis is on Krajicek getting to the net, and if Spadea doesn't hit a good serve, then Krajicek whacks it, and he's in straight away again. And again, Spadea, if he can't pass him, Krajicek's athleticism at the net enables him to hit a good volley. So it's all, the opponent's always under pressure. Unless the opponent hits a good serve or hits good length on his ground strokes, then Krajicek's going to be putting the pressure on.
There was a moment of opportunity for Spadea in the second set when Krajicek served at 4-5, 30 all, and he showed to us then just what a tough customer he is, didn't he?
Exactly. I mean, obviously, when you're that tall, it's 30 all, it's a big point. He steps up to line, hits an ace wide. You know, I mean, what can your opponent do about that? And then you move on to the next point, similar situation. I mean, Krajicek knows he's got a big serve, it's game point, and ace wide again. That's from 30 all, 4-5, 30 all. You know, Spadea needs 2 points to set. Krajicek stands up, hits 2 winning aces, and that's the game over. Thank you very much.
He's a confident man. Let's have a reminder of Richard Krajicek's position in the draw. Up next for him, the third seed, Yevgeny Kafelnikov. Now, Annabelle, how do you read that one?
Well, before the tournament started, I guess I'd put Kafelnikov through on that one, but I have to say, almost agreeing with Chris that on the form that he's showing right now, going to be tough to put out Krajicek. I mean, with that huge serve and the fact that courts are playing so fast. But then again, I think Kafelnikov is playing well. He played a great match against Medvedev yesterday, and you know, with Kafelnikov, what it comes down to is his head. You know, if he's in the right frame of mind, you know, he's also tough to beat. I don't know. What do I know?
What do any of us know?
I get it wrong most of the time.
What do any of us know? Kafelnikov has been saying some pretty provocative things over the past couple of days, hasn't he, Chris?
Well, I heard him saying this morning in the interview that he thought only 3 players could actually win the tournament. It's either himself and Krajicek and Agassi. So he's quite confident with his form, and I don't think he thought Greg Rossetski could actually win the tournament, but we'll see.
Well, they're all in the same half of the draw. If it pans out, it could well be Krajicek against Agassi. Now, up to now, Chris, Agassi has been totally untroubled. But a head-to-head between those two, you think that Krajicek could cause Agassi a lot of problems, don't you?
I think because of the way Krajicek plays on these courts, with his big serve volley getting to net, for any baseliner, they've got to be playing really well. I know Agassi's playing well, but I mean, Krajicek's always been going to be coming to net, and maybe Agassi hasn't played too many players over the last couple of weeks who are coming to net and serve volleying that well. So I got a sneaky feeling that people think Agassi's going to win, but I think Krajicek could maybe pip it.
And Annabelle, it's time for Krajicek to really show what he can do, isn't it? Because after he won Wimbledon in '96, we all said this is the birth of a great champion. Hasn't quite happened for him up to now, though.
No, I think after he won Wimbledon, and he admitted it himself, he really struggled mentally. All his sort of ambitions and, you know, what he was gearing up towards, it all just sort of left him overnight. And he struggled for about a year, and then he seemed to get it back together. And this year, he's had a pretty good year. He's won 2 tournaments, and we watched him win London, then he won, what was it? Key Biscayne, that's right. Then he really sort of went through a middle period again where he wasn't kind of getting it together. And then he played 3 events since Wimbledon. In fact, he had a very strange loss at Wimbledon to Manta, but who he took out again in the first round here, and he's kind of got it back on track, and I think he's ready to peak. So I don't know, I think he's a solid player. I like the way Krajicek plays, and with that serve, 18 aces today, tough one to put out.
Annabelle and Chris both fancy him. Could well be the kiss of death as far as...